Howdy, friends. How are we doing? I'm sick, as you can tell, but I still wanted to start this vlog because I finished a book today. I gotta get back in the habit of it. I start work for the next 4 days, and so I won't really be able to vlog as much, so I definitely need to do this now or forever hold my peace, you know? So, hey, I finished Piranesi. I finished it this morning. I've been consistently reading 30 pages every night for the entire month, basically, just trying to get this read, but I just didn't have the time to sit down and read the book. I was really trying to read this in one sitting, but as you can tell, I've gotten sick and just my mental health has been a bit of a struggle. So sitting down to read has been a bit of a challenge, but I've done it slow and steady. I won the race. I enjoyed this. I like this a lot. I gave it 4 stars only because I don't think I was smart enough for this. I enjoyed what I was getting. I like this slower pace. You are just kind of there for the journey. It's a little bit slice of life, but it's not. It gets very thrilling towards the end. It was a good time. But I feel like it was a bit bigger brained than me. Maybe because I'm sick and I just missed half the book. But I feel like I need to read an analysis of this book, of someone to explain to me is this a brilliant book or is it just a good time? Because to me it was a good time. I read it chilling with Piranesi in the labyrinth. Woo! But that was the gist. And is that wrong? Was that it? I don't know. I need to know. But yeah, highly recommend you pick this up. It's a short read. It shouldn't take you as long as it took me, truly. It's incredibly easy to read. The Susanna Clarke, this is my first book. I haven't read her other book. I always want to say Jekyll and Hyde, and I know that's not it. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Noel. So I haven't read that. This is my first Susanna Clarke, and I really enjoyed the writing style. It's very simple, straight to the point, because we're in Piranesi's journals. So he's taking us along this ride while he's living his life in the house, which is also the world, and just explaining to you the statues, the halls, where you are, his meetings with the other, just very normal day-to-day stuff that he feels inclined to write down in his journal. But it's very straightforward. He doesn't need to romanticize writing because it's just for him to remember what he wrote 3 years ago or whatever. So yeah, I really appreciated this. It was a quick, easy read. It was actually enjoyable. You aren't supposed to know what's going on until you're a good way through, but you still kind of get the gist of what's going on, trying to figure it out. You feel a little unsettled as the reader because you're just what is happening? Why is this so normal and chill? And then the mystery unsolves in front of your eyes and you're just wow, great. So yeah, this was the read. She done did it. I have a lot of books on my TBR to read still that I'm not super sure what the plan is. I don't know what I'm picking up next. I have no clue. I know I need to read a lot because once I started getting sick, once Austin got sick, and then once I started getting sick, it was downhill, and it's been like this for about a week. He got sick the week before me, so it's been about 2 weeks that I just have barely been reading, so I'm super behind. So we're kind of gonna get into crunch time to read as many possible things as I can. Okay? We're on this journey together. It's gonna be a good time. I have a lot of things to read for other reading vlogs that I'm working on the side, and then whatever else will be in here. It'll be great. So I'm gonna go read. I'm gonna go lay down. I'm gonna take off this makeup, I think, and I'm gonna peace out. I should edit my video, but I really just want to lay down right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. Hello. I have reading updates to discuss, to talk about. So, as you might have seen on my TBR, I had the third book for the Finlay Donovan series on my TBR because it's the March Literally Dead book club pick. So I have to read all three. That's what I'm trying to say. I have to read all three of them so that I can participate. So Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano, I believe, is a rather straightforward, some say cozy mystery. I understand why people call it a cozy mystery, like I get it, but at the same time, like, it's not a large mystery. It's interesting, but either way, I read the first book, which is about our main character, Finlay Donovan. The pitch is that this Finlay Donovan is an author who isn't necessarily succeeding in life, is kind of going through a time, and is sitting in a Panera with her agent and is discussing her next book and like the plot. And she's overheard by another lady who misunderstands the entire conversation and thinks that Finlay Donovan is a hit for hire. So this woman leaves Finlay Donovan a little note just like, hey, heard your conversation, I'll pay you $50,000 if you kill my husband. And Finlay Donovan's like, no, that's crazy, not me. And then proceeds to do just that. Proceeds to get involved with this questionable man to figure out why anyone would want their husband to get murdered and be taken care of. So she goes on like this date with him, and you meet this like really cute young bartender. And yeah, it kind of just sets you up for the entire series to come. I believe that there's just going to be 5. I remember hearing that somewhere. I don't know how true that is. I know that the 4th book is set to come out in 2024. But yeah, so basically this first book is following Finlay Donovan, who accidentally does the murder. I don't know how else to put it, but that's kind of what happens. And then from there, you also have the side characters of the nanny, Vero, who I'm the biggest fan of. She's my favorite character. She really brings so much to this story. She's hilarious. She's younger, so she's just funnier. She's a student in school. She's learning to be an accountant, I believe, and helps take care of Finlay Donovan's 2 children. And alongside Vero, there's also Steven, which is her ex-husband, who's dating this new woman, and they own a yard maintenance store. Like they sell grass. He loves his kids, but is also kind of like a shitty dad. Finlay's not like the best mom either. She definitely gets like a little like annoyed with the stress of everything, having to write books and take care of her kids and be a stay-at-home mom but not make any money. So she relies on her ex-husband to like help pay the way. So it's very like complex dynamic in that sense. The kids love their rich dad and stepmom, because what small child wouldn't? It really just sets a picture, makes the whole scene what it is. I overall enjoyed the book. I thought it was funny, like a lot funnier than I was expecting. Honestly, I laughed so hard with this book. I thought it was funny. I thought that it was incredibly unbelievable. I had a very hard time starting out with like the suspension of disbelief, just being like, yeah, totally, like I definitely could see a woman murdering someone and somehow getting away with that. Yeah, that checks out. Like, it's just one of those things that you're just like, I don't believe this could ever happen, but yet you're still very invested in these characters, and I really enjoyed that sense. So I got used to just like, it's so random, nothing is real. Like, once I got used to that, I was having a lot more fun with the overall story, just being like, yeah, totally, like, in this universe, of course that would happen. So that was a lot of fun once I got used to it and was like not taking it serious, really. I really enjoy the self-awareness in the book. It's very obvious, like, Finlay Donovan is writing a book about exactly what's happening, which is the book that we're reading, so it's a little bit like meta in that sense. And I just had a good time. It was just a funny, silly time. I wouldn't say like it's great literature, but I get the hype. I do. I really went into this thinking like it wasn't going to be for me because I don't like mysteries that much. I'm not a big like cozy mystery fan, which again, there is a mystery element, but it's kind of just more like a contemporary thriller like it's very genre bending, if you will. So I wasn't thinking I was going to enjoy it at all. And when I finished it, I was getting ready to just jump right into the next book, and I'm listening to them on Scribd. The narrator, by the way, fantastic. Such a good job. I really loved the audiobooks. And I jump into the second one, but I rate my books on Scribd. And my fingers hit 5-star. I didn't think about it. I didn't, like, no thoughts in my head. I just instantly loved the cliffhanger ending of the first book that I was just like, banger. Like, just like so instantly was like, that's fantastic. Oh my God. So I did give it 5 stars. I'm just as surprised as you are. I did not think that would happen. I didn't think I would be that into it, but surprisingly, I really enjoyed it. So, since I'm still doing my makeup, let's chat about the second book. Finlay Donovan Knocks Them Dead. Yeah, Finlay Donovan Knocks Them Dead. This is the sequel. In this one, we are following Finlay Donovan. Her nanny, who's moved into the house, is like definitely involved. Their kind of like running joke is that Vero's a part of her life, like 40%. So she gets 40% of like the drama that's happening in Finlay's personal life, is invited to like the family holidays, like is just like very a part of the family. And I truly love that. I really love Vero's character. She is my favorite. She's without her, this book would be so boring. So my biggest complaint throughout the first two was that Finlay Donovan is so boring. So boring. There's like nothing going for her. She doesn't really contribute a lot. She's not that funny. She's just kind of there, and she's just really lucky. Like, she's just very lucky. So the second book follows our gang and introduces a slight romance. I didn't really mention him in the first book, but there's this cop that Finlay's sister works with. Finlay Donovan's sister is a cop. She's also lesbian, so you've got some representation in the book that way. But she kind of sets her up with Nick, and so like Nick's kind of the second romance interest behind Julian, the bartender. So you see a little bit more of Nick and kind of Julian in the second book. The second book I really enjoyed because it's much more getting to know Finlay and like her motives, her views, whatever, and a little bit of Vero, but just kind of like getting to know the family dynamic with Steven and Finlay's like immediate family members, so on and so forth. So I really enjoyed getting to know the characters better in that sense. Like, I felt like I was understanding them and got to know them, and like my love for them kind of grew. So that's kind of the second book. The second book is really just Finlay trying to solve who has a hit for hire out for her ex-husband, obviously it's her ex-husband. She doesn't really want him to die because they have kids together. So she kind of takes it upon herself to sort of save him, I guess. And it's just like it's a journey. It's a journey. It's definitely a wild ride that you go on. I overall did enjoy the second book. I initially was going to rate it 4 stars, but truly, like, they're all 5 stars. I'm going to tell you, they're all 5 stars. Are they, like, objectively 5-star books that I'm going to, like, remember and think are, like, the best ever? Are they favorites? No. But I had so much fun with them. I was laughing so much while reading these. It was just a good time, and I flew through the audiobooks. So for that, the experience, I gave them 5 stars. I really enjoyed the second book. It's definitely, like, your small town cops are so dumb and bad at their job if you're able to get around them like this much. But also, like, yes, manipulate, girl boss, gatekeep, do everything you gotta do. Love it. And then the third book, Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. This one is everyone's least favorite, which I think people that are saying that also read these books when they got released, so a year apart. And I had the pleasure of reading them back to back to back. No space in between, no books in between, just constantly back to back to back, listening to these books to the point of staying up until 2 a.m. to finish the third book. So with that said, yes, it's completely unbelievable. I've learned to accept that. I loved the campy humor in this one. The third book revolves Finlay Donovan and Vero joining the police academy for like a week-long training while also trying to find a bad cop in the bunch. Like, trying to see, like, who's doing the bad thing. I'm trying not to spoil anything. And so, like, you're just, like, chilling in a police academy with all these people. And it's so dumb, but so funny. And you really get to know Vero better in this book, especially. Like, you get some glimpses of it in the second book. The fourth book is going to be incredibly Vero heavy because it's going to start following her storyline, which I'm actually really excited for. I will be continuing with the series. I definitely wish that, like, it wasn't a big book club pick, because I would have preferred binging this whole series when all of them were out rather than waiting a year in between until the fourth book comes out. But either way, I'm glad that I'm on the bandwagon. I loved the campy dumbness of this third book. I love them being in this stupid little, like, complete the words. I really love the complete campiness of being, like, in the police training and academy. Like, it's so dumb, but it's so good. I understand why there's 2 sides to the romance. There's Team Nick and there's Team Julian, and who people prefer in those, like, in the romance terms. Julian, the hot young bartender that's, like, in school to be an attorney, and then Nick, the Finlay Donovan's aged cop. I am more of a Team Nick because it just feels more fitting. I really like how Nick acts with Finlay Donovan's kids. I think that they're really cute and have more of, like, that fatherly figure to him, whereas Julian's, like, in college, which means he's closer to my age, which, no, at this age, I would not date a person with 2 kids that's 10 years older than me, because that sounds like a lot of responsibility that I just, like, don't want. So much family drama. Nah. Not worth it. I'm so sorry. So that was one of the things, like, I'm more of a Team Nick, so I enjoyed seeing more of them getting to know each other and having, like, the conversations that they did. And yeah, I enjoyed their romance. As for Vero, oh my gosh, Vero's romance is so fun. It's like friends to lovers to enemies to flirting. Like, her and Jose Javier, I don't remember his name, and now I'm mixing it with kids that I went to high school with. But either way, like, their dynamic is so funny. They're so funny together, and they're not in too many scenes, but when they are, I just like, oh, and it's just like it's so fun. It gets me going. I have a good time with it. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I loved the campiness. I did not see the twist coming. It's one of those twists that you're like, sure, yeah, that makes sense, I guess, but like, it's not a twist that you can necessarily guess incredibly easy. Like, all the puzzle pieces aren't there. Some people said that they guessed it, and I'm like, sure, if you say so. I don't know about that. But either way, like, it was so fun. I understand, like, people who read the series as it came out don't care as much, because they're like, okay, I've been away from these characters in this world for a year, and I can imagine that suspending your disbelief to that extent is probably pretty difficult after a year. Like, you like the characters, but it definitely, you're like, okay, why are we at this, like, event? So I kind of get where people are coming from, but I recommend, if you haven't read them, to read them back to back to back. If you're like, cool, if you can like remember those things, maybe like, yeah, pick the 3 up now. If you're worried about not remembering these kinds of situations, maybe wait until it's complete and then pick it up, because I think it's a lot of fun to binge the series. I'm gonna continue. I luckily have like a pretty solid memory of books that I read, so I don't think it'll be hard for me to jump back into this world next year when the 4th book comes out. But I had a lot of fun. I'm so excited to continue reading. Yeah. Alright, hey. So, my plan for today is Monday. There we go. So I don't work, which is lovely. I have 1 book to haul that I'm going to be hopefully reading in this video. And then, yeah, I have a couple things that I'm hoping to get done, which we can go over. But I bought The Helm of Midnight. This is by Marina Losteder. So this is on my TBR for February. Obviously, I have to read it. I picked it up with my library on Hoopla, and I was very excited about it. And then I like listened to it, and I said, what? And then I listened to the first 30 minutes again, and I still was just like, okay, I understand, but like, what? So, what a time. I did not know this was going to be fantasy. I knew that this had something to do with a serial killer, but that was kind of it, really. I didn't know much more than that. And so I didn't read the synopsis until I picked it up, but I knew that just by listening to the audiobook, I was getting a little bit like lost and confused, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of characters and just things that I wasn't grasping. So I bought a nice little copy. I say nice and little, it's a little bit big, but I'm going to be reading along with the audiobook now because there's so much more to this than I was expecting. So the gist of this is that there's a very unique magic system, and I have barely scraped it, but basically, in a daring and deadly heist, thieves have made away with an artifact of terrible power, the death mask of Louis Charbon. Made by the master craftsman, it is imbued with the spirit of a monster from history, a serial murderer who terrorized the city. Now Charbon is loose once more, killing from beyond the grave, but these murders are different from before. Not simply random, but the work of a deliberate mind probing for answers to a sinister question. Corona Hervath and her fellow regulators must enter the mind of madness to stop this insatiable killer while facing the terrible truths left in his wake. So much more than I expected it to be. The back does say Hannibal meets Mistborn in Marina Losteder's The Helm of Midnight, the dark and stunning first novel in a new trilogy that combines the intricate world building and rigorous magic system of the best of epic fantasy with a dark and chilling thriller. So I was not prepared for that. I didn't really know. I had little clue what I was getting into. I didn't know this was a trilogy. This came out in 2021. So this came out 2021. The second book is coming out this year, and then who knows about the third book. I didn't know this was going to be a series. I thought it was a standalone, and then once I like picked it up, I was like, oh, it's going to be like a duology. That's cool. No, it's a trilogy. Either way, I am excited. The magic system in this seems so cool and incredible, but because it's like on the edge of like epic fantasy, which I don't read too much of, I wanted to read along so that I actually like absorbed what I'm reading and like I understand what's happening. So yeah, this will be the book that I pick up. I have a couple things to read for this video. So besides The Helm of Midnight, I will also be, for this video, hopefully finishing The Wicker King. I did start it. I got 12% into the audiobook, and truly I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm like a little bit confused. I don't know what's happening. Either way though, listening to that, I'm also going to be reading Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I have the audiobook from my library. Yeah, I'm gonna read this today as well. This is kind of like the big one. I'm nervous. I don't want this to alter my state, which is why I want to read it today and not tomorrow, because tomorrow is the day before I go back to work, and so I'm like a little nervous about it, but like I'm scared that it's going to destroy me a little bit because of the topics that are going to be touched upon and the things that are going to be said. But yes, this is also the TBR. So 3 things to read, including The Wicker King, for the rest of this weekly vlog. I know that these weekly vlogs are really just like maybe 4 days if I'm lucky of talking to you guys, but either who, that's where we're at. I also got my Aurelium Academy sweatshirt from Redbubble. I love it so much. It's genuinely so comfortable. I was not expecting it to be of like good quality, but like it's really soft on the inside. It's like oversized because I wanted a big sweatshirt. It's covered in cat hair. It took like 2.5 seconds. I love it. Highly recommend. It was like $32 on Redbubble, I think. I also bought some stickers, but yes, I'm loving it. I don't ever want to take it off. So I'm very excited for April, where I can just like literally wear it every day and it's appropriate. But yeah, those are the reading plans for the next 2 days. As for everything else in this vlog, my office is yet again a mess, like always. I can never keep it clean. I've got piles of art supplies everywhere. I've bought a couple like decor things. I'm remodeling a little bit, if you will. I have something coming, but it might not be in this vlog. And then I got my birthday present from Austin, which were lamps that I was wanting. And then I have some shelves that need to be hung. So that's kind of like the gist of what's going on. It's just like tidying my office, making it look cute again, and then reading and filming. Should probably do that. But yeah, that's kind of like all that's going on for the next 2 days. It's already almost 2 p.m. though, which is sort of scary. But either way, it'll be fine. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do stuff. I'm procrastinating so hard, and now I'm using you guys as an excuse to procrastinate further. I'm gonna stop now. Bye. My new lamps. And I finally set up my little headset. Watching YouTube. I love. Corners coming along. Good morning. I'm so tired. I was hoping to sleep in a little bit longer. That definitely didn't happen. But last night I started Chanel Miller's Know My Name, and I got 50 pages into it. I tabbed a little bit this morning. Cried 3 times in the first 50 pages, twice for Chanel Miller, once for myself. This is a hard read. This isn't like a piece of cake. It's definitely on the more difficult side of reading. I will be probably reading the rest of this on my own time, completely in private, because I think that this is going to bring a lot back for me. I think that this is going to be like a challenging book to get through, but like I know it's also going to be like healing in some ways. So yeah, it's very complicated. I'm very excited for this. I'm really enjoying it. Chanel Miller has a very good writing style. Like, she is very talented at writing. I think she got her I think in the intro it said that she got her degree in literature, which would make sense. So yeah, she got her BA in literature, which I think just like makes sense. But either way, I'm gonna finish this up on kind of my own time outside of a vlog. I'll probably talk about it in a wrap up. But yeah, that's that on that. I've started this. I'm enjoying it. It's good, but hard. I highly recommend absolutely anybody and everybody pick this up. Like, it's just one of those memoirs that I think everybody needs to read. Like, everyone loves Jennette McCurdy's. This is kind of in that same realm of like everyone's picked this up and everyone should pick this up. So that's that. That's it for reading updates. I've continued a bit further with The Wicker King, which is going. This is by Kate Ankrum. It's about a boy, Jack, and his friend August? Is his name August? There's like a lot of characters that are like in this friend group, but it's mainly like around these two boys that are friends. And Jack sees the world differently. He has, I think, hallucinations or something where he sees like this fantasy world in tandem to reality, and so he's the Wicker King. His friend is like the Wood King or whatever, and that's kind of all I really know. People are starting to notice at the school that Jack is like a little bit weird and different, so there's that discourse, but nothing's happened necessarily, and the writing style is really interesting. Kay Ankrum has the chapters split up, so it's like rug burn, and then it's like a very short chapter on Jack giving his friend a tattoo of his name on his ribs, and you're like, okay. And then it just like very quickly moves on to the next part, and it's like not in like a clean sequence or anything. Like, it's kind of choppy and all over the place. I like it, but it's a little bit confusing, especially because I'm jumping into a story I'm not familiar with, an author that I've not read before, and I'm only listening to the audiobook, so it's just like I feel like I'm missing something, but clearly I'm not. So yeah, that is going. That's it for now. I'll keep you posted on the reading. Yeah, I have a lot of things to do today because I didn't end up doing as much yesterday. I kind of did the desk lamps, decided where to hang shelves when I have help. Yeah, that was it. I didn't film anything yesterday. I only like half cleaned the office. So yes, many things to do. It's early and I'm tired, but we're gonna do it. Friends. I tried so hard to get out of this sweatshirt. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I love this sweatshirt with my entire being. This is all I ever want to wear for the rest of my life. This is who I am for the rest of my days. I don't know what to do about it. I'm like on like a very strict, like, no spending any money outside of bills right now and like subscription boxes, because I'm trying to save money, because I want to buy a new car, seeing as I don't technically own one right now. I also just like want to have money in my savings account and like be like a responsible adult. I have to get like an IRA. Ugh, being an adult is rough. But either way, yeah, I really want to do nothing but spend all of my hard-earned cash right now on Reddit sweatshirts. So I'm like, I need money, please. Hopefully, if I do my budgeting correctly for these next 2 months, I will have so much money saved, and then we're smooth sailing. But I already dedicated myself to buying the new Sims 4 expansion pack when it comes out. So it comes out March 16th. I'm buying it like the week after on my days off. I've committed to that. So I can't change that and buy a sweatshirt now. But like, oh, trust me, I want to buy a sweatshirt. I'm so obsessed. If you participate in the Aurelium Magical Readathon hosted by G over at the Book Roast, buy yourself a crew. I will leave the exact one that I bought, link down below. You're welcome. Life-changing. I need more people to upload bookish art that I like to Redbubble, so I can put them on sweatshirts and be a happy little girl with a lot of sweatshirts. That's my goal in life. I don't know why I'm talking about this. I'm so sorry. I'm alone tonight. Austin had to work like super south from where we are, like 5 hours away. And so I'm home alone tonight, and I was home alone last night, and now I'm just kind of lonely and wanting to talk and hang out, but nobody's live on Twitch that I want to hang out with. None of my friends are available. So I'm just kind of home alone, wishing I had more sweatshirts, talking to you guys. Should I be reading? Absolutely, but what's the fun of that? Why would I do something responsible for myself? I am watching YouTube, and it is making me feel better. I do enjoy watching the good old tube. It definitely helps the whole, like, not feeling so lonely situation, because you're like, oh, I have friends on the internet. I know, it's a little, yeah, anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on with me. I spent most of my weekend, last 2 days, just like cleaning up and reorganizing the office. I got my new lamp set up, so it's like super duper vibey in here. I just like spent the whole day cleaning, and now I like want to do stuff, but I also realize that it's getting late at night and I have work tomorrow, so it's like, what do? I also need to edit a video. I didn't upload my video today, so that's gonna go up tomorrow morning, so I should probably edit that. Okay, this whole clip was literally for nothing. I just wanted to ramble and speak to you guys, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna edit. Goodbye. Thanks for talking to me. out the vlog, but I have like 2 whole books to talk about somehow. And so we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go to sleep and then wake up really early so I can edit this final clip and get it up for you guys. But I finished 2 books since we last spoke. I finished The Wicker King by Kay Ancrum. I've given this 4 stars. 4 stars, and it's a little bit generous because I enjoyed the story. It was a very different writing style. Like, the chapters were so incredibly short, and I felt like I was missing stuff here and there. It's kind of a sad story. It's very character driven, and I think that's another big thing, is there's not like a whole lot of plot. A lot of it is kind of left to be interpreted because there's just a lot of discussion that could be had. I think this could make for like a better book club pick where you can have open discussions about the story and so on, but it's very short. I do not suggest that you listen to the audiobook without the physical book. I think that this is better if you read it physically, and yeah, I don't think that the audiobook really worked, but I knew that that was more of like a me thing. So overall, that's my thoughts. And then at work, I also read and finished, because it's kind of on the shorter side, Feminist AF, A Guide to Crushing Girlhood, I believe. And this is by 3 authors, 3 Black women who are writing about feminism for a younger audience, which I'm not. I'm a pretty solid feminist at this point, but I know that there's always like room to grow. So I was open to the experience and like hearing what these women had to say, and I think that it is incredibly important. I think that adults can still get something from it, but it's definitely more targeted towards a younger audience. So if you have like teens or young girls in your life, not too terribly young, but teens in your life especially, I think this is very important. There's conversations about everything and anything. There's also, the only things, I have like a pros and cons list, which I should probably grab, but that would require getting up. The only things that didn't work for me specifically were like the advice columns, if you will. Like, there was like kind of a Q&A sort of thing where they took questions and gave them answers, but I'm a 24-year-old woman who lives in her own house, so like they don't necessarily apply to me the same way, but it was still like good information to be out there. I like the balance of facts and personal information and jokes and just overall like commentary. I think that these women are hilarious. They are so funny, and the narrators for the book, incredible. I highly suggest the audiobook. I got it through my library, and it was a great time. They were funny. It really felt like you were hanging out with sisters or friends, or in like one of their examples is like hanging out with like your aunts or aunties. So yeah, it was a good experience. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the conversations about feminism not being white centric, which white feminists are a thing. And so I believe the terms this is why I can't read nonfiction. I don't have the brain to remember all the pieces, and then I sound stupid. Intersectional, I think that's what it means, when like you're not only oppressing women for being women, but also because like they're Black or they're Asian or they're queer. Like, there's like multiple things stacked. Anyway, I really like those conversations. I do feel like this is a very like important piece of literature. I definitely want to focus on reading more nonfiction that is about feminism. I know that there's the Hood Feminism, I believe that's what it's titled. I really want to listen to that book or read that book, because that one's targeted more towards adults. But my thing with nonfiction is I don't really like being thrown facts and like history and dates and stuff, because it feels a bit too like news article-y, very textbook history-y, and that just like isn't my learning style, and it just doesn't stick for me. So I liked this one because it was very bite-sized. Like, here's important things that have happened in history. Here's important things that have happened to women that were not covered, that aren't talked about, and they should be. But there was also enough of everything else that it just balanced really well, and I like was able to consume and digest everything better. But yeah, I gave this 5 stars. I don't typically rate nonfiction, but I definitely think this one deserves it. Like, it was wonderful. But yeah, it's got me excited to continue my nonfiction feminist journey, because there's always so much to learn and so many behaviors to correct from childhood traumas. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I know that I said recently that this reading vlog was going to be up on Thursday, and then I put a community post saying it'd be Saturday or Friday, and now it's Sunday. And so like, thank you so much for bearing with me through these times, through these tax season times. We're so close. We're 1 month away of like normalcy again, and then hopefully things will be cool. But I again have been working on so many reading vlogs. I have so many books sitting on this cart. I've finished 8 books already, like not even just in this video, but like I've already read 8 books in the month of March. It's the 11th. That's crazy. I'm at a great trajectory. So I hope to keep it up. Hoping to read a lot of things. It's gonna be a good old time. I'm very excited. But thank you for hanging out with me and sticking around. I really appreciate it. I know that like you gotta be consistent on the tube, and sometimes that's difficult, but either way, I'm gonna go now because it is nearing midnight and I think I'm going to sleep. I might actually read a little bit, but then I'll sleep. But it'll be something easy. Anywho, have a great night or day or morning, wherever in the world you are. This will probably be going up in like morning, early afternoon. So I hope you have a nice Sunday. I hope it's relaxing and you get any tasks that need to be done, and then you can just read. Drink some like tea or coffee or whatever. I'm gonna go now. So I'll see you guys very soon in my next video.